And they were all pretty generically the same. These guys all got up at 4 a.m. They had quiet time in the morning with just themselves when their families were sleeping and the business wasn't really breathing down their back. So they had quiet time where they're in study or meditating. They would also have consume some sort of food, whether it's a protein shake or a healthy meal was made for them, and then they would move their bodies. And they wouldn't actually get to work until sometime between 9 and 11 a.m. They would go to their emails, are typically the first thing they would go to. I was like, man, this is a template that I have never tried in my life, because if I'm out till 2, 3, 4 in the morning, I'm not waking up till noon.
Right.
But decided to make the change there and give this thing a shot. And out of it was birthed my now morning routine, which I've had for the better portion of a decade. And that's really what I wanted to share with you guys is I made a decision to get up at 4:15, and I've now been doing that for probably around 7 to 8 years. So I get up at 4:15, 7 days a week, every day of the year. Now there was some implications. My nightlife had to change so that my morning life could exist. That's a decision. I saw something I wanted and made a decision. Something else that I do every single day. Well, let me lean in on the 4:15. I get up at 4:15 not just to get up. I don't turn on the TV. I get up at 4:15. The first 2 hours of my life, so from 4:30 to 6:30, the first hour is spent in the Word. I believe in Jesus Christ, so I spend time in the Bible. That's my time with Him. And then the second hour is spent in a book where I'm learning something that I don't really know very well. So the first 2 hours of my day, every day of the week, is spent in learning. Then my family wakes up around 6:30 and we get our day started. So that's one part of my day. Second thing is I work out at noon every single day, 5 days a week. And there was a couple year window when we started our construction development company where my need to be successful trumped my schedule. So for 2 years I quit working out, Aaron.
I get that, yeah.
And because all my time was going to building this new company, and I changed drastically for the negative. And it was 2 years after that point where I finally saw myself in the mirror. I saw myself every day, but I saw myself uniquely in the mirror one day and went, "Oh my gosh, I am headed down a really rough path. I've got to go back to what I was doing." So since then, that was 2 years ago. So for the last 2 years, I've been back on my noon workouts every single day, which I protect at all costs. Third thing I do is I'm present after 4 p.m., which may seem really early for most men. I've built that ability in my life where I can make my schedule, but my work schedule ends, generally speaking, at 4 p.m. So I get several hours between 4 and 8 p.m. to be with my family, to be present with my kids, to play with them, just to be in the house. And then the last thing is a commitment that I made of no leftovers to my wife. And so regardless of what the marketplace draws from me, she will never get whatever's left over on my battery. If I wake up at 100%, I want to make sure that when I get to the end of the day with my wife, she's not getting my last 6% before I pass out. My marriage will fail. And so the last 30 minutes of the day is always spent in quality time, pretzeled up is what I call it, tangled up in presence with her. So just a picture of some templates that I have taken from other people and implemented in my life. And not that my life has to be the standard, but I would tell you that the significance that I have in my life, the peace that I have in my life, the friendships I have in my life, the progress that has been chasing me down, I give a lot of that credit, one, to God, but even more, just as equally, to the decision that I made and the fact that I'm seeing it through 7 days a week.
Love that. Recap that. So Josh saw a vision for a life that he wanted. He looked into high performers, CEOs, founders of companies, people with significant success, and made a decision to follow their template. So that's a blueprint. Then he has seen it through and has 10 years of consistency and experience to where he can actually speak to the fruit that is showing up in his life. And that's really the simplest way to applying a disciplined practice. And the one thing that Josh and I were offlining about before we hopped on this episode